Hello, welcome back to Soothe Your Soul with Savannah Brooke. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm so excited for this episode because we're going to be talking about the collective mindset and how it affects global peace and unity. We're going to have two special guests joining us. The first one is Fabrice. He's in Paris, France. And our second will be Zac, and he's in Mexico currently. So why don't we bring on Fabrice and get to know what's going on over there in France?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Everything good with the lockdown. Yeah.
Thank you so much for, on a short notice, coming onto this call. And
Yeah.
we're going to talk about a few things. We know that right
Yeah.
now in America, we're experiencing the election today and yesterday. So we're having a lot of shakiness. But I know that you over in Paris also are experiencing some challenges. And so I wanted to really dig in and talk about how are you seeing that affect you. So I'll get into some questions with you, but why don't you first tell me, tell our viewers your name, what you
Yeah.
do, and what your passions are for the new earth.
I'm Gocha. I'm 32 years old, and I'm a musician. I make some music and some mix rap and some trap and reggae music. Like for me, the title of my EP is like um, paradigm shift, and I'm talking about the creation of the new earth passes through my music that allows me to spread some positive messages and bringing changes as in my project. And I claim a total change of our habits, of our way of thinking, of our way of working, eating, communicate, and less based on the marketing product of the human being, but in the authenticity, the unity, because we are currently considered as product on the market now, and we have to fight and claim original values, those of the first inhabitants of the earth, before the globalism, the globalization, and the transhumanism is coming. So
Yeah.
I can melt in my passion, the music, and especially singing allows me to visualize the new earth and transcribe in my text and in my music my own vision.
Wow,
Yeah,
such a powerful message, right?
yeah,
Thank you so much. So, you and I met on Instagram a while ago through communicating about specifically the vision of the new earth, which is why we've been in communication about how can we come together from across nations, right? How can we connect digitally, virtually with others who have the same vision, and what can we
yeah,
do about it to really enforce the importance that we're facing as a lot of other people are experiencing the results of the pandemic, the
yeah,
trapped. And so you're in Paris.
yeah.
You were telling me that you just went on a lockdown. So can you tell me a little bit about just over the past week or two, how the reality has actually shifted from what you're used to experiencing there in Paris and what you're experiencing now?
Oh yeah. What we are experiencing now, it's like very, very, very weird because um, it's like how the health measures of the COVID-19 are disproportionate and in opposition to human sovereignty. We are faced with liberticidal acts under false flag organized by a group wanting to maintain humanity in slavery, but no way. It's not conspirational. When you look a little bit, you will understand all the strings of the economy as well, all the other links of the chain. I consider that we should not be locked up at home. If we are healthy with a good immune system, this makes people even sicker because deprived of sun, oxygen, this has a lot of impact on health and a small business that slowly, for me, it's time to realign ourselves, even if all this could be avoided, but I come to think that everything happened for a reason, for the transition to the new world. But yeah, for me, it's like irrational sometimes, but it's okay. It's time for us to align ourselves and create a new world and just stay focused inside. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's what I feel now.
yeah. It's great because I mean, I feel your enthusiasm and I feel your excitement and you're like ready to just charge out of there. And so are
Yeah.
you locked up in your house right now or are you able to go from place to place or what is your
Yeah. I'm locked up now, but we got some paper to go out. Like we cannot go out of 1 kilometer. It's
mm,
like I cannot understand that because yeah, we can just come go for the to grocery or to run or for something like the essential things, but we have to make a paper for that. So for me, it's like incredible that's happened, you know?
so and this is all because of they're saying that this is because of COVID. They're saying that everybody's locked down specifically because the cases are rising and
Yeah.
they're trying to prevent people from getting sick. Is that what their reasoning for keeping people locked up is?
Mm,
Is that what
yeah.
that was the reason
Yeah.
what of the lockdown?
Yeah. In the paper, it's the reason for, but in reality, I guess it's not the reason for. It's a test for the population.
Yeah. Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked before, so it's actually it feels like to
Yeah.
me it's a guinea pig situation where they're
Yeah.
testing people to see how compliant they are. Of course, people in ways have to listen to the government over there.
Mm,
A little bit maybe more, I don't want to say more than over here, but I mean over here in Florida when we've been locked down, there's been a lot of, if you want to, it's just kind of mandated. It's not mandated.
mm,
It's kind of suggestory. So, um
yeah.
I'm really curious to know, do you meditate on a daily basis?
Yeah, I practice daily meditation,
Mm.
balance eating, and as I explained before, I rely on myself maximum because the fact of being locked up during this lockdown reconnects you to with the help, and because of your help too, I can say that you give me a lot of mentally healing, like mental healing, to see the things different because we have to be optimistic in this situation, but sometimes it's very hard to face of this situation. But
Yeah.
I advise the whole population not to switch to fear that fit the low vibration, but on the contrary, to continue the collective positive thinking
Mm.
that I believe will allow us to ask the whole population not to fall into fear and to nourish the high vibration and to continue the collective thinking. In my opinion, we have to counterattack seriously because the darkness is so present now, and we have to counterattack with our way of mind. And and during a few years, we're going to fight for that. But the ascension is real, and we are part of it. So let's push the new generation
Mm.
to continue this fight and to make some revolution inside, and after that we can change the world. But
Yeah.
I guess now the only solution is the visualization, the power inside ourselves to feel you good, to practice sport, to practice everything can contribute to your goodness, you know,
Yeah. Oh,
and
that's
personal
beautiful.
development. Yeah,
Um, I have another question for you, but first, I really am feeling called to just like, can we just take a minute to just
yeah,
connect through our hearts in this moment?
yeah,
Let's just take a together breath or two here
yeah, of course.
because we know the collective heart beat when we can visualize the connectivity that we have across the globe to those whose hearts are crying out and reaching out for assistance, who don't
Yeah,
know this. We have a gift to be able to know these truths, to what we believe are truths. Everybody's
yeah,
experiencing a different truth. And
yeah, for
so
sure.
we have a blessing to continue to look towards a brighter future.
Yeah.
And it's important to continue to talk about these things with those who are close to us, those who don't understand you as we are planting seeds, but also just for our viewers and the friends that will join us, remembering how important it is to connect with our hearts and knowing that when we're connecting together, like right now, I feel a vibration, here coming through with you.
Yeah.
We know that energy is just, it's transferable, so we can feel this collective energy here. And for those watching, like, we encourage you to tap in with this breath and
We are
pray
all
for those who are held captive in a sense. And
yeah.
and so finally, I'll just ask, what are your thoughts on the collective mindset, how they impact the world, and how we can continue to focus on the bright new vision that we see in the earth kind of post the situation that we're experiencing now? How do you think that affects the collective reality? And how do you
Yeah.
think, like, what is maybe one or two things that you suggest from your experience that we can do to take a better step towards seeing that vision?
I'm thinking that the collective state of mind is indispensable because I comprehend in this situation that we are all interconnected and connected. So it's for this, as I said before, that it's essential to remain some optimistic and visualize on a daily basis the new land, flora with fauna, luminous landscape, and not the chaos that Babylon or the system want to show. And it's like the kind of Hollywoodian movies, like of the city, everything is like everybody get fears, for example, showing a single reality and returning to their consciousness. No, it's not the one we bring. We are beings of light, bringing back paradise and heaven on earth. So it's inscribed in the holy writing, bringing the Holy Spirit, harmony, love for our Mother Earth. So I would advise our interlocutors to visualize this as much as possible because it's much more powerful than what we think.
Yes. Yes, it's so true. Oh,
It's what I feel now.
yes. Um, so now you're a singer, and before we go,
Yeah.
before we get to letting us know how we can find you if we want to hear your music and the new vibration for the new earth, do you want to give us a little 20-second a song that you're singing, or do you want to sing something for us so that we can hear what your style is like? Are you comfortable with doing something like off the bat like that, or should we just have people just get sent to your pages?
Okay. Yeah. You can. If I put some beats, maybe you can hear me, or I can sing a cappella if you want.
Um, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
You want me to sing in a cappella, or I can put some beats, or I can sing
Whatever you
like that
feel,
with
something
my
from the
voice,
heart. Let's
pure
hear
voice.
something from the heart that will be just nourishing for the soul for those listening.
Okay.
If you just want to give, it could be one of your songs or whatever you
I
feel.
can. Les, les choses se transforment sous ton nez. Petit à petit, tu te sens prisonnier. Réagis pour éviter la foudre et la pluie. Tous unis, peu importe qu'une seule envie. D'inonder Babylone système, celui qui mène la danse crée du fric, certes, mais à quelle sorte de cadence? Des peuples qui crèvent des dollars virtuels. L'humanité s'étouffe à toute vitesse. Les gosses meurent chaque jour par politesse. Pour toi, l'amour n'est qu'une ivresse tout droit. Dans un précipice, la pendancique se précipite. Certains d'entre nous anticipent l'humanité est en perdition. Mais nous, on passe pour la réaction. Bless. It's a freestyle time.
That's good. Even though I don't understand French fully, it
Yeah,
sounds beautiful. So,
I can finish
Fabrice,
next time.
gotcha. Why don't you
Yeah,
tell us where we can find you on social media if people want to listen to your music? And
yeah.
thank you so much for coming
Thank
on and
you.
sharing this information with us today. It's so important for us to connect with those around the world now that
Yeah.
we have the ability to do that really closely. So let us know how we can find you.
You can find me on Instagram like Gocha Official, and in Facebook, Gocha Official. YouTube, if you tap Gocha changing of you put paradigm and you find me on YouTube, and you can find me on Spotify, Deezer, every platform each platform you can find me there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Amazing, amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining today. I'm so grateful. And
yeah,
I hope that we'll stay in touch and just if there's anything I can ever do for you or anybody around it in any way, we can set up some workshops and set up some future
yeah,
activities, maybe virtually. I would love to see how we can get together on creating the new earth.
yeah. With pleasure.
All
Let's
right,
make
thank
it.
you. See you next
You're welcome.
time. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on that segment. Oh my goodness. I don't know what I would do if I was experiencing the lockdown the way that he's experiencing it. We've had a few calls prior, and I'm a nature person. I've got to be outside and I've got to get moving. And we've had our own version of quarantine here in America, but that is it's quite frightening. I mean, it is a reality to many people. So it's so important to figure out how can we create a mindset where we can still create peace within ourselves in those moments. And before we go on to the next guest, Zac, I need to hear. I can't actually hear. Oh. All right, thank you. So, thank you for joining us on this segment where we're talking about the collective mindset. And today we have a second guest. His name is Zac Raskin, and he's in Mexico. And we're going to join in. Thank you so much for joining us today, again on such a last minute notice. How are you
Hey there,
doing
yeah,
today?
totally, yeah. Hey, thank you so much for having me. And thank you so much. Is it Fabienne or just Bob? Who
Fabrice?
just, oh, Gabrice. Oh, okay, I just see FAB there.
Yeah.
Gabrice. Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you so much, brother, for sharing and everything that you just shared. And yeah, my heart goes out to you out there. And yeah, I see that there's like a major exodus out in France, I believe, right now. You know, it's pretty interesting to see from just, you know, literally the social media end. But yeah, thank you so much for everything that you do, brother. Just wanted to recognize you. And yeah, thank you so much for having me here today. I literally just got back from a very beautiful Sacred Cenote, which is an underground, sort of like a spring in a sense. You know, it's sort of like a cave full of water. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is right down the road. That was really beautiful and amazing.
So Zac, tell our viewers where you're located and how long you've been there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I'm currently in Tulum, Mexico,
Yeah.
and I've been here for today makes 2 weeks. I literally just moved into my new home 2 nights ago. Just
Congrats.
yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, signed a 6-month lease, so going to be grounding down out here for a bit, doing some workshops and some activations and some different community building projects.
Amazing. So I'm curious about two things before we dive in. Why Tulum? What made you get to that decision? And Tell us also a little bit about what you do and how you also are building the new earth.
Yeah, totally. So why Tulum? For the last 8 years or so, actually 7 years, right around this time, 7 years ago, I decided to just start following that intuition. I started meditating right around this time 7 years ago. And,
Wow.
I just started to receive this internal guidance. And I started to follow that internal guidance. And I've been following it all around the world. And and now I see it as God,
Right.
God guiding me, literally, talking to me,
Amen.
directly, as we all have that ability to listen and to hear God through whichever way that is for us. So it just kept on coming up, to go to Tulum, and I finally listened.
Yeah.
And came here, and it's just been a very beautiful experience since. There's a lot of great people out here who have also been feeling the call. And I'm sure that maybe even a couple of viewers here will be like, I've been feeling called to Tulum.
Yeah, I mean, I was receiving the call, and the girl I'm staying with right now just got back from Tulum. She was there for about a month, and I'm still kind of awaiting my assignment location, I'm still waiting because I'm still shedding some things from old self, old life. And I feel that once I continue to get rid of that energy, it's just going to just pop up and say, you're ready, this is where you're going. And so we've talked a lot about the importance of understanding the quantum level of the frequency for healing and for just our evolution of consciousness and existence as evolved human beings. And I really would love to hear your perspective of what that means and how we can assist others who are just starting to grow in their consciousness, kind of have a simpler way of understanding that without it being like such a mouthful.
Yeah, for sure. Well, understanding things on the quantum level and raising our frequency. Yeah, and one of your previous questions was what I do, to help bring in the new earth. And that's a big thing that I do. I help people to really, to give people tools to, raise their frequency. You were talking about meditation in your last segment, and that's very important. As soon as I started to meditate, I started to notice how certain things would be attracted to me. And as soon as I started to travel as well and following that intuition through meditating and through raising that frequency, certain things that I needed or certain people that I needed to meet would just be coming right to me. So understanding things on a quantum level, in the sense of, one, seeing things, putting things out there into the universe that it is that we desire to have, that we desire to learn, that we desire to experience, and raising our vibrations and frequencies enough and paying attention to that intuition to, guide us to receiving that experience is, and also at the same time, knowing that this thing is going to happen. So, I started to, whenever I first started, it was just, I was putting things out there, and thankfully I watched, I was learning a little bit about conscious, manifestation through, started with the movie The Secret, and then started to learn more in many other different ways, and started to put out there things of just absolutely knowing that I would come to Tulum, that I would receive a beautiful 3 to 5 bedroom home.
Yeah.
That would have big enough space to hold, activations and different events to raise money for the collective to put into other projects to create the new earth.
Yeah.
So giving people these techniques such as meditation, such as affirmations, such as, just just like visualization and conscious wording,
Yeah.
you know, really paying attention to the words that we put out there, especially around this time in the US. There's a lot of just like hateful things being said out there, just a lot of like low vibrational things that are sort of happening from, you know, like today is like we're waiting to see the official counts of the votes to see who becomes the next, you know, president of the United States. And it's such a thing, you know, like the energies are everywhere.
Yeah.
And people, I made a post yesterday, just a simple little post, and people just started attacking me on it. Just like, I'm like, whoa.
I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, I feel like we know, and some of our viewers will know this. And if you don't, totally take this in, because it's like that internal versus external reflection of self, and what am I attacking outside of myself that I need to reflect inside and try to figure out, why is that even creating an anger and aggression inside of myself? Why is it that I'm allowing that reason, the president that could or could not be the thing that I put all of my anger and aggression out towards, you know?
Exactly. Or even people that are on one side or the other, you know, and like them not, you know, like like people, like maybe this person doesn't agree with the way I see things. Maybe I don't agree, but like there's no need to put out, you know, hateful things. Like that's not moving towards that new paradigm. That's total old paradigm stuff.
Right.
You know, of like the whole divide and conquer sort of scenario that has been within
like a duality.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, in order for us to shift into this new paradigm that we're here to bring into this earth, into this new earth, into this period that we're in, that many of us have manifested onto this earth in this time to be a part of, you know, we need to do that work on ourselves. We need to really release all that old stuff that
bring it out, bring it up,
Yeah,
bring it out, but allow it to be healed instead of just like piled back down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I personally love, you know, I personally love the triggered stuff that happens. Like I speak very honestly and openly about anything that I'm going through, about any views that I have, you know, and it triggers a lot of people, no matter what side they're on politically. It just triggers people. And part of me sort of like enjoys it, because I'm like, all right, cool. It's bringing these people's shadows up so they can really see like what they need to really release. You know, in the past 8 years ago, I was such an angry person. You know, like I would be that person who would just attack people, who would, you know, like I was getting into fights all the time, like physical fights, yelling fights, just being very, you know, like verbally abusive to people. There was a time when I was 19 years old, I actually lost the privilege of going to anger management. So I lived that life. I lived that life of just like low vibrations and just like putting people down. And just now to be able to just hold space for people and to keep that peace as well. Because once we start working on ourselves, once we start doing that personal development and raising our frequencies through meditation, through different tools like what I'm wearing right now, you know, through quantum frequencies. Yeah, that's the quantum frequency device that I work with. Yeah. And so like ever since I've been using that too, you know, like meditating and, you know, using this and putting out the right thoughts, listening to the right music, watching the right things, pretty much cutting out media, because media is just there to fill us with fear. Right. You know, so cutting out all these external sources and filling the cup with all these things that help to raise our frequencies is what gives us the ability, because we're all conscious creators, you know, like we're all co-creators here to co-create a better earth with God, with Christ, with the universe, with whatever one is more comfortable calling that higher source
Yeah.
within
Above the
or with,
world. The above the world blessings.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm a God lover, Jesus lover. You know, I recently came to knowing Jesus more closely. I have a closer relationship with Jesus now than I did a year ago. And you and I kind of briefly touched on it, but I always was understanding the Christ consciousness and the kind of universe as God, like everything is God, you know. But I recently have had some shifts with that. And I feel like by growing closer, knowing Jesus, that has been like the veil has even more wiped away from my eyes. And I'm seeing things much more differently than from a oneness perspective than I used to. And I feel that you might have experienced a similar thing. And I'm curious to know what how your perception has changed or how you've received more clarity when you have increased of your years of growth through spirituality.
Yeah, totally. So, yeah, it's a sort of a recent revelation for me as well. You know, like Jesus came to me a few years ago, through a meditation. You know, I was actually in Miami. No, I was in Fort Lauderdale, somewhere around that area, and I was at a guided sound meditation, and there was a thing like there was a like during the meditation, you know, like we were on a beach, like we were actually in like a spiritualist church, but like in the meditation realm, like we were taken onto a beach. There was a boat out at sea, and then, you know, we swam out to the boat. There was going to be somebody at the top of the boat that was going to greet us. And my intention before this meditation was that I wanted to talk to God face to face, whatever God looked like. I didn't care. Like, I wanted to talk to the one that has been guiding me all around the world, you know, and giving me everything I needed. Because for a few years, I traveled with literally just the clothes on my back and a water bottle and no dependency upon money whatsoever. So I wanted to meet that in person, face to face, however that looked. And, you know, like, you know, I got up there, I was climbing up the ladder on the boat. And then as soon as I got to the top, you know, it was Jesus there with his arms open. And then, you know, he's telling me, like, we had this conversation, how he's God, how he's us, how he's within us, how he's been guiding me, how he guides everybody if they open up to listen and all this stuff. You know, right now we're in a big spiritual warfare. I want to be mindful of the time. I feel like somebody may have just told you that the time is...
Yeah, we're going to wrap it up here in a minute, but finish this
cool.
And then I'm going to read one thing.
Okay, awesome.
Thank
so
you.
We're in a huge spiritual warfare right now. And there's New Age spirituality, which I used to fall more into, which is all like everything's one, everything's God, you know, like all these other, and then there's, you know, like there's sort of like New Age Christianity in a sense, where personally I see that Christ is the way to lead us to God, to creating the new earth, to creating peace on earth, but it's not in the traditional Christian sense whatsoever for me.
Yeah,
you know,
I call it higher dimensional Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Or like,
just like
higher conscious Jesus.
just like listening, like listening to the actual teachings and not thinking that meditating is evil, not thinking that doing yoga is evil, not thinking that doing these like things that really help us to bring us closer to God and Christ, as long as it's done with them in the forefront, you know, like not seeing that it's a evil thing, that it's actually all a piece of the puzzle. So that's what I'm doing here on earth. You know, like I have many different workshops I'm doing. I have a 5-day activation coming up on November 23rd through the 28th, called Purpose, Service, Prosperity.
Is that live or is that online?
It's going to be online. It's going to be live online. There's a Facebook group for it. It's free. It's a free event. So anybody that wants to come, it's going to be the 23rd through the 28th. The 26th is going to be off since that's Thanksgiving.
Yes.
But yeah, so it's free for anybody that wants to join. They can look me up on Facebook, Zac Raskin. I have my personal page that you can follow, and then also I have my other page that you can like. I just started that. I'm also on Instagram at Zac Raskin, ZACRASKIN. And
Great one of a
yeah,
kind name. You don't have to add anything to fluff it up. It's nice.
yeah, exactly. I'm like, there's like nobody else with my name, I don't think. But you just have to put ZAC.
Okay. Amazing. Well, Zac, thank you so much for coming on to this call. And I know that we could talk forever and ever about how we can create the new earth. And I really appreciate you sharing all of your knowledge and wisdom. And for those of you who want to reach out to Zac, please tune back to the messages that he just shared with you. And we'll have all of the information down in the comments below. And blessings to you over there in Mexico. And one day we'll come over and visit and see what you've got creating there.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it's really been an honor, and yeah, lots of great things happening out here as well. So
Yay.
yeah, stay tuned.
Okay, wait. Let's do a breath. A heart to heart. Stillness. We are still in the space. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Blessings to you, and we'll be in touch next time. Take care. Thank you so much for tuning in to Soothe Your Soul with Savannah Brooke. I want to encourage you to tap into yourself today, tomorrow, and any time that you need additional peace, and know that your mindset can truly shift the vision and the reality that we experience together. Blessings, and see you next time.